We're going to keep going. So here's the author of the Alabama Sunrise and the Eye to My Storms. Now I'm going to repeat that. Hello everyone, I am Judah Bernard. Here at the Rise Creating Your Voice podcast, I am the wisdom dialoguer as well as the motivational warrior. And we have Here's to 2021 live on Facebook with Gerald D Johnson, the author of Alabama Sunrise and the Eye to My Storms. Let me introduce to some and present to others none other than the author of the hour, because it's Here's to 21, Mr. Gerald D Johnson.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm glad to be here. I am so glad to be here on the Rise with you, Judah Bernard. How you doing?
And thank you for that. What I want people to understand is, what does that mean? Everything that you do, and we want to get a little bit more about you. So I'm assuming that since you're from, the book is called Alabama Sunrise. Are you from Alabama?
Yes, born and raised Mobile, Alabama. And I based the book off of my mom's hometown, Chattin, Alabama, which is a true place. And that was the inspiration came from, the setting.
Okay. So in that, what does that look like for you? Because I understand you have two actual books, one being the Alabama Sunrise, then the other one is a children's novel, which is The Eye to My Storms. Tell us more about the children's novel.
Well, the children's novel I wanted to put out there because representation really matters. The main character, 10-year-old Jojo Ferris, he goes through a situation where his parents seem to lose everything and they had to move down to Alabama. And in the midst of moving to Alabama, he faces new adversities that come into his life. And he has a talent and a gift that he was didn't want to use at first, but he started using it unwillingly, and he found that peace. The very thing that he did not want to do was something that he was very good at, because he was afraid of being bullied, he was afraid of being talked about, or whatever the situation may be. So I just wanted to encourage Black and brown boys that no matter what your talent is, do not be ashamed of it. Always be authentic to yourself, believe in yourself. And that's what Jojo had to find out. He had to find out that he is an incredible talent, that he's gifted, and that he's braver than what he believes and what he thinks. So he goes through this journey of even having dreams that matches what he goes through in his life. And so at the end, he wins and he defeats the giants of his life. So that was the inspiration behind The Eye to My Storms.
Great. And being that, I want to know how do you see yourself as in that children's novel, the main character, Jojo?
I see myself in him because a lot of times, as a writer, at first I did not want to write, even though I knew that I was gifted to write. I just knew that sometimes it's not the most popular gift to have, and sometimes even the most unappreciated gift to have, because a lot of times, we have our favorite movies, our favorite TV shows, our favorite songs. Everything is involved in writing. And so I had to become confident in myself to start pursuing my dream, because I could no longer hide it. So just like Jojo, he could no longer hide it. That's the way I felt myself in him to be as related to the character.
Do you see many of, because is it safe to assume that Jojo is Black?
Yes, he's Black.
So do you see a lot of the young Black men that have been ostracized, or better use of words, or probably been bullied in the area where you are in Alabama for not being that football type or something like that?
Correct. That's why I wrote it, because whether it's chess, whether it's some type of other sport, or whatever that it may be, doesn't mean that you're less talented. I think that we need to highlight other gifts in Black men and appreciate and value all types of gifts, not just, the sports. Although sports is wonderful, it's great, but everybody doesn't have that gift. And so we just need to highlight our gifts. So that's what Jojo did. And that's what he was glad that he had done, especially when he met his friend who used to dance, but that gift was taken away from him. So he's dancing not only for himself, but he's dancing for his friend, he's dancing for his future, and he's dancing for his sanity. So the very thing that he denied, that he did not want to do, was the very thing that saved him.
And I like that because basically it gives people an avenue, because when I look at in younger ages and things like that, and people or young guys say, oh, I want to dance or do something that men think that is effeminate. How can you say to that young little Jojo that's still out there that's suffering from the stigma of the effeminacy?
Don't deny yourself your gift. You owe your gift to the world. You owe your gift to yourself. You owe your gift to God who gave it to you. And there's nothing wrong with it, whatever that you decide to do, just be confident and know it. And you're a huge inspiration to somebody. Your gift isn't just meant for you, it's meant for the next person. And that's what Jojo did at the end. He realized that his gift was meant for the next person. So don't do yourself a disservice. And one thing about it was when he finally did it, it was like, it wasn't as bad as he thought. A lot of times you just have to get out of your head and just do what you need to do. And so that's what Jojo did. He got out of his head and he went to that first class, and it led him to great opportunities.
And that's the thing is, I love how you saying how Jojo got out of his head. So in that inspiration of Jojo getting out of his head, I think we need to start with the parental figures of getting into his head and the stigma that they put on young Jojo in the story about how this could not look so well if this is what you do. And they give you words like, oh, you'll never make it because this will not be a stable job, or you will never get to this because you're not good at it. This is something that a man or a boy shouldn't do.
Correct. Yeah, because it was, you have to just go through those phases of your future and what you want to do, and sometimes it doesn't line up, but everything will work out. And even though he was a dancer, turned out to be a dancer, Jojo was a lot of things. He was funny, he was outspoken, he was brave, he was a manly boy as well, and he did boy things. But that was just something that was just a piece of him that was so important. So I think we should live with all the pieces that we have. We should not be buried our gifts because of what other people would say. So I would say we all have pieces to our lives and all have pieces to our bodies. Use everything. Everything that you have is valuable.
And I totally agree with you, but I think what we need to do on the Rise Creating Your Voice is going in 2021 as parental or mentors or mentees and things like that, is to understand that people have pieces, as you stated before. And you have to get the pieces to all of the puzzle to make sure that you create a whole mosaic.
Correct.
And if you do not create that, one of those pieces is going to get heartbroken or broken or left, and then you won't have a complete person in driving them to do the things that you want them to do, or things that you may not think that they're supposed to do. Especially when it's positive, because I don't see anything wrong with Jojo dancing.
Right.
Personally.
Yes, and
that's your passion, that's your life, and just be the best at it.
Just be the best at it. And he also in the book, you will find about supportive friends. He had a supportive a friend to lean on. He had a supportive family. So he did have those things, that supported him. So it's important to have people who believe in you. And that's an advantage that he did have. But He didn't believe in himself. So that was something he had to get over.
Right. So for those who just joined, I just want everybody to come in and know that I'm talking to the author, Gerald D Johnson from Mobile, Alabama. He is the author of Alabama Sunrise and the children's novel we just got through talking about, which is The Eye of My to My Storms. I want to say The Eye of the Tiger, The Eye to My Storms. So I mean, and we're talking about how Jojo was this young boy, and we called it boily boy because most people think when young men want to dance that they're going to become a certain way and they have an effeminacy about them. And that's not the character in Jojo. Jojo was somebody who did believe in himself, but also had a support system. In that support system, he began to grow in what he was worth as far as his dancing and things that he liked to do at that particular time. So I applaud you on creating this character, Jojo. So young boys who do have the opportunity to dance, those football players that want to dance, but their father's saying you need to play football other than that. But do they know that a lot of the dance steps and ballet and stuff helps you with tackling and running and different things like that? So it builds stamina too as well. So we need to look into that. Well, if you have anything else to talk about, where can people actually go and get the children's book? I already know it's on, the children's novel. Excuse my expression, I'm not an author. The children's novel, The Eye to My Storms. I know it's on Amazon, but what other places can they get
them? You can find it on Amazon, of course, like you just mentioned. And I would like to put out an inbox on hit me up on Facebook so I can maybe send it to you. Gerald D.
And that's Gerald D. and that's GeraldDeandre. He's actually tagging this post. So the only thing I do is click on his name and you can go to his page.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in his children's novel, if you have young men that are questioning on whether they should dance, allow the children to read this book because it's a very interesting book. I saw some excerpts and I love the content and the character, and it's an easy reader.
Yes.
So just moving right along, Alabama Sunrise.
Yes.
And let's talk about Darlene Walker.
Yeah. Darlene,
I told you I did my research.
I know, right? Darlene Walker. I would describe her as the backbone of the family, the mediator, the one that's being less appreciated for all that she does, for being the glue to the family, and also being mishandled. Her identity, her truth was taken away from her because of a major secret in the family. And the family actually thought they was doing her a favor by keeping it a secret of what she actually was and who she actually wanted to be. So Alabama Sunrise is definitely a story of a family dysfunction, a family of generational curses that need to be broken, and a family that kept secrets from each other and didn't know how to speak to one another. And just a big family. They come into the home house. The theme is home is where the heart is. And these grown children are coming to the house and they're wanting answers. They're seeking answers. They're seeking peace because no matter where they went, a part of them was still at the house, and they wanted to just be free and rescued from all the drama and chaos that was happening. But this time around, springtime comes around, and things really change, and the generational curse end up being broken.
Talk about generational curses. That is a new thing that everybody don't want to handle.
Right.
And if you don't mind, would you mind just explaining what a generational curse or what it means to you?
To me,
in
my opinion, a generational curse is something that is repetitive because it's not being acknowledged. Everyone knows.
And did you say repetitiveness?
Yes, repetitive.
Exactly. Look, yeah. I'm just making sure that's what you said. Because I think people don't understand that if, and I call it a simile, if we're doing similar things, it's a generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. I just have to put that out there.
Yeah, and And it won't be broken unless it's addressed. That's why it lasts so long. And this family lasted so long. The character Ruth and her mom, Josephine, they were just alike, but they could not stand each other. And they had the dysfunctional love where they wasn't arguing. It was like something is wrong. Like peace was chaotic to them. You know, at one point the mother, Josephine, went away and the house was quiet. And Ruth is like, this is weird. Feels funny. Like normal and peace isn't normal in a sense in the home. So there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of verbal abuse, emotional abuse. There's a lot of self-loathing in the family. But through it all, they laugh at their pain. They laugh with each other. It's love, but it's a very complicated situation.
So my question is it love with healing the generational curse? And maybe I don't know if you want to tell the end of the book, but do the generational curse get resolved?
In a very unusual way, but there's still work to be done.
Okay.
It's the breaking point. It's the breaking point, but it's definitely have to continue on, you know, to break the process.
Okay. And I love that because I think what we still have to understand that this character went through so much in which she became a provider.
Mm-hmm.
And now she has to deal with for providing and still dealing with herself. I think my biggest point that I'm trying to make is sometimes hurt people.
Correct.
Especially when you don't know you're hurting. Or right. when you assume the hurt to be love.
Correct.
So I want all those Darlene Jacksons. Did I call out Jackson?
The Walkers.
Well, did I say Jackson? That ain't Darlene Walker, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Walker. It's all good. Look.
Maybe I'm calling out somebody that needs
that need to know.
I'm sorry, Darlene Jackson. I'm sorry. If your last name Jackson, I apologize. I'm not saying the Jackson 5. I'm not talking about Michael Jackson family, anybody, but you know, the spirit just come over me sometimes. You know, just gotta say it.
Right. You never know.
Darlene Walkers, all the Darlene Walkers out there. You guys definitely need to read their book. And would you mind telling them where Alabama Sunrise is on Amazon? And then you can touch Gerald D DeAndre here. If you click the little blue thing at the top, you can click on Gerald DeAndre and actually look him up. And you will see the Amazon, Alabama Sunrise, and also the children's novel, The Eye to My Storms.
Correct.
Which are very, to me, two great books. And I think in 2021 something is new coming up if you want to share it, but that's only on him. I'm not going to force him to do.
Yeah, of course I'll share it because if I share it, then I'll be more responsible, right? I'll be held responsible to put it out. I can't be on the rise talking about it and never come out right.
At all. Because this is recorded.
Yeah, this is recorded. I am writing a new novel, and I'm just going to touch bases on it just a little bit. It's called A Dream Deferred. You know, Langston Hughes, in honor of Langston Hughes, the title, he wrote A Dream Deferred. And there's also paying homage to Lorraine Hasper, who wrote A Raising the Sun. You know, what happens when a dream deferred, does it drive like a raising the sun? So that's the title that I decided to go with. And just touch bases on things that I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about dreams, no matter how big, how small they are. Dreams are dreams. I'm going to talk about gentrification, prosperity gospel, homelessness. And I'm just going to touch bases on this family that their father passed away and left them with a heritage. And they have been emotionally abused and wasn't aware to how they was being emotionally abused until the story. And the main character, Jason, he's a restaurant owner. He has this dream of being the biggest restaurant owner in the city. But things begin to take a toll on him and his family and his past. But he realized something big. No matter who they are, he must serve them the same. So he have to serve. If you come in and you don't have it all together, if you come in and you know a higher class citizen, no matter who you are, he found that ultimate lesson in life. So that is something that I'm working on for 2021, a dream deferred, which I'm so excited about.
Okay. Hats off to the dream deferred and much success in that. Are there any other projects you're working on too as well?
I'm going to do a dream deferred, and there's some other things that are lined up in the work, but I don't want to say the name yet because it's subject to change. But I have about 2 or 3 novels after dream deferred that's lined up in my mind right now.
Okay. So we have this young African American male who's in Alabama who has just a gift of writing and doing literary art. And I want you to understand that in this art and things like that, and maybe you can tell them how you sought out different people who published your book, and or just tell them about the process. Let's go through that process if you don't mind.
Okay.
So for those who are writers or want to be authors, can you go through that process for them?
Okay, this is the way that I've done it that worked for me. I decided to go with self-publishing. The reason why I decided to go with self-publishing because I know my work. I know what I want to talk about. I know who my audience is, and I'm smart enough to know that my work may be handed to a literary agent, and my fate is in that agent. But guess what? That agent doesn't understand my audience. They don't understand the people that I'm writing for. Right. So I decided to go self-publishing because I want to give control of myself. I wanted me to have the yes, to go ahead and have the faith and to do it and to write it. So my process is I follow my heart. I follow what I want to talk about. My first book actually was Unbreakable Bond 2013. That was about teenagers, 18 about to graduate high school. Then we have Jojo, who's 10 years old. And then we have Darlene Walker, who's a 56-year-old woman. And then the next book, A Dream Deferred, will be about a 36-year-old man. So I'm definitely not in the box when it comes to writing. My characters are all the above in all ages. And I decided to go self-publishing because I wanted the control. I know what I want. I know that I need. And I'm also going to say, Alabama Sunrise, I've been getting so many great reviews on it. Yes. And I'm not afraid to tell it, but on Goodreads, one person said the book was not great and they wish they had their money back. And so, right, just one. And you can't satisfy everybody. But What if Alabama Sunrise was in the hand of a literary agent and they said no? And I'll be questioning my whole gift. It's not for them. It's for my audience, and I know who they are. And if you trust me with purchasing my book, I guarantee you will not be disappointed in my writing and in my gift. So I decided to self-publish. But if you can do traditional publishing, get an agent, God be the glory, go ahead and do it. But for me, I'm not going to sit around and wait a whole year for a yes or a no. I get a couple of people to read it and see if they like it, see if I need to change it, and then I put it out there and I let it fly. Because if I would have waited on traditional publishing, I might not be on the rise tonight.
You still be sitting there. No, I'm just playing.
Right. Still sitting here.
No. But also, Author Gerald, I want you to definitely explain to them the difference between self-published and actually going with a publishing company too, as well, and some of the battles that you may have had for the self-publishing company. I mean, the publishing company.
Yeah, being self-published, because the marketing is all on your own. You have to find some kind of connections to get further. When you do traditional publishing, they market for you and all those great types of things. So that's the main difference. To me, it is.
But then again, if you're self-published, you get all the proceeds, kind of, sort of. And if you're going with a publishing agency, they get a chunk of the rock, don't they?
Correct. Yeah, they get a good chunk of the rock. Thank you, Bernard.
The bank account don't add up if you self-publish to be able to go into a publishing agency. I'm just saying you might be in the negatives if you go to...
I mean, whatever floats your boat, you know.
Know your worth. That's it.
Yeah, know your worth. That's the most important part. Know your worth.
Yeah. So when you know your worth and you know your God-driven purpose and your purpose of writing, and you're okay with being self-published, because a lot of people sell books out of their cars and things like that. That's part of self-publishing. You do most of the work yourself. But then again, you know up front, a publishing agency, you have to pay them, and they have a royalty and some other things that they do too as well.
Correct.
So I want people to understand the difference, because I don't want people to be sidetracked. Oh, we'll give you this and we'll give you that, and then you're crying later when you don't own the book.
Right. So I like my ownership. I like my freedom. You know, that's the main thing for me. And I know that, you know, and as long as people are being inspired, all my books, no matter what age, is very inspiring. And even the children's novel, sometimes I call it the family novel, because I know grown people who really enjoy that book.
So I definitely want to thank our listeners for coming on, but I want to pause for a minute because I know that it is 6:29 my time and 5:29 on other areas. If everyone can just we have a question, and we'll get that question in just a second. One thing is, I want everybody, if you have a glass or whatever, and notice that this is ginger ale, is bubbly ginger ale with a splash of cranberry juice, just a splash to give it the rosé color. And I want my glass say peace. So I want everybody to cheers to peace in 2021, because peace and love is part of my ministry. And also, I just want to make sure I declare and decree peace and love to the nation and to the world. Not only here in the United States of America, but all across the world, because we need this, and we want it to be infectious. And what do I mean? Infectious meaning that it needs to spread just like this coronavirus is. If we start spreading love the way we need to be, it wouldn't be a lot of these things going on. So we need to start diminishing and decreasing hate and spreading more love. So this is cheers to 2021, peace and love. Cheers. I needed something to wet my whistle anyway, so that's my cranberry juice and ginger ale. Yummy. Yum, yum. So we had a question. Do you have a writing editor?
Yes, I've used editor. That is a good question. I don't advise people to edit their own work. So you definitely need someone to help you with that part.
And did that answer your question? My friend down there, Krista Collier Slaughter, please have somebody to edit your work. Please don't edit your own work.
Yes.
2 eyes, well, four eyes are better than two. That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when you read it, you're reading it how you want to read it, and somebody else is going to pick up on something like, "Hey, this." Yeah. Right. So yeah, I advise you to always get an editor. You can't do it all by yourself, even though I sometimes want to, but you can't do it all by yourself.
That's from the author Gerald D Johnson. You can't do it all by yourself. This is somebody that has gone through several terms of books and novels, and actually is an author. So this is his time to shine. Are there any other questions in the audience? Anything you guys really want to know about writing, being an author? How do you compose your authorship? How do you do different things with your books and things like that? Or do you have ideas for books that you want to pitch to our special guests? Y'all quiet tonight. It's the 2021, or y'all turned up already.
Turned up already.
So here's some questions, because I have some questions. I want to know, who is Gerald from the author?
Who is Gerald from the author? Gerald...
Erase the author part. Who is Gerald?
Gerald is laid back. Gerald is sometimes talkative. Gerald is sometimes quiet. Gerald meets the vibe of people. Gerald is spiritual. Gerald is something unique, and you never know what you might get. Some people know the quiet Gerald. Some people know the Gerald that is extremely goofy. I am not bipolar, however. I just look.
Hold on, let me put on my bipolar glasses.
Look, what you said? But it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the honest truth.
These help me see bipolar people.
Right. Gerald enjoys movies.
No.
I enjoy reading. I enjoy family and friends. That's who mostly I am.
Yes, and that's great. That's great. But in that, what are some of the struggles Gerald had in growing up?
Some of the struggles. You got me with this one now. Bernard. Look at some of the struggles. I guess my struggle is like somewhat, you said separated from the author, but come on now. You are who you are, like you're part of your job. So a lot of times I put my struggles in a book when it comes to if you see a character feeling some type of way about not believing in themselves or just trying to go through adversity, you know. The struggle of being in Alabama, the struggle of wanting better, you know, and not just having to push through.
Push through.
Push through.
And what's that? What pushing through what?
Push through your own state of mind. Okay. Pushing through.
It's sort of like Jojo.
Right. Pushing through the negatives. See, that character's for everybody, huh?
But I think we still have to understand that we're in a state because, like I told you before, that I'm from Mississippi, which is a southern state. And most people expect you to stay in Mississippi.
Right.
Yeah. So how would you what are your thoughts and opinions about branching out for younger generation? Because sometimes it's so hard and sometimes it's the fear of failure.
Correct. I know.
Just your opinion. Just your opinion.
Yeah. I'm not trying to live by. I rather live with a definite no than a definite what if. Living in a what if, you know, what if I would have took that job? What if I would have wrote that song, wrote that book? You know, all of these what ifs. That is more painful, you know, than a no. If you have a no, you can at least change your perspective. You can change your game plan. You can say, okay, well, I can rediscover myself. But living with a what if, you will never be able to rediscover yourself. So I think that's more painful than the questions in your head are more painful than yes and more painful than no. So I think that's important. And at the end of the day, your destiny is going to push you to where you need to be because you're going to find out A, B, and C is not working. And that dream, the dream is over your head. The D in the dream is over your head. And that's what you're really supposed to do anyway. So sometimes you try to avoid the situation. But I had to tell myself, you know, if James Baldwin could do it, if August Wilson can do it, if Spike Lee, Tyler Perry can do it, why not me? Why not?
If Donald Trump can do it, why not you?
Exactly. That's it. When they say anybody could be president, they got us with that one.
Okay, enough about that. So what are some of your dreams and goals?
Some of my dreams and goals are, of course, to continue writing. I I'm a true believer in building your own door. I purchased a book and I'm going to write. I'm going to start writing on a TV show. I am. I'm going to take Alabama Sunrise and I'm going to try to make it into a movie. Those are my biggest dreams, my biggest goals, and it's so those would be the main ones that I have for myself. That's like a long-term goal that I do have.
Okay. So what are some of your short-term goals?
Short-term goals is to graduate in May with my master's. And
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Look, that's another one of those push through situations. Push through. And don't
push all the way through.
Push past it. Yeah, that's definitely a short-term goal. So I will be graduating in May.
Okay. I like that. So what are the plans? What's the next thing for Author Gerald? Would there be some stage plays? Would there be other authorship? Are you looking to sign on with a literary company? What?
I'm just gonna keep my mind open to a lot of things. It's funny you mentioned plays because I thought that's what I was gonna do originally, and I still may do it, write plays. But if you read my books, you know that my characters are like bam, 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 like where this person come from.
Right.
So I believe that I could definitely do that too as well. And to get back to that, you know, I used to do poetry as well. So it's just some things that I'm just gonna be open up to in writing. I'm not gonna limit myself.
So my question is this, because I know it's good to always reach back. Do you also mentor young men or women that would like for you to mentor them too as well?
I never really got into mentoring, but I always worked with children. I worked with children for 4.5 years at a mental health facility. So it's always an opportunity to mentor then and even now when I work with foster kids. So my job kind of requires me to be it does require me to be a good example without me actually going out and to look. And so hopefully more kids will buy this book and let Jojo become an inspiration and a household name as well. And maybe, you know, another child be like, okay, well, I want to write, you know. So that's the way that I mentor, not directly, but inadvertently, I end up mentoring.
Okay. So is there any other thing that Gerald want to tell our listeners about him while he is on the rise creating your voice, and how writing has started you to create your voice? Because I see somewhere down back in the time you didn't have a voice.
Right. Writing is a way to get a voice. You know, you can take how you're feeling and put it in another character, and it's like so therapeutic. And you be thinking that's the character, but that's really you talking. But they don't know. Look, they don't know different. Some stuff you gotta get out. Some things you gotta get out.
But let me give a disclaimer. Now, Darlene and Jojo is not Gerald, okay?
No. Because
now you're gonna have them thinking, "Oh, he's Darlene."
Oh no! They somewhere up in there, but that's definitely not Darlene. Definitely not Jojo. Yes. And
now, what's that B word again? You said you were.
You know what I said.
Bipolar.
Oh, you know. I said I wasn't. I match vibes pretty well, but I'm nice to everyone. I am extremely nice to everyone.
Anytime you say bipolar, I'm gonna put these glasses on.
I said it one time. See, they might have forgot I mentioned that. I just had to clarify that I'm not crazy.
I just have to repeat it for those who've come on.
We don't need that type.
Now, we're not laughing at the actual mental health disease of bipolarism. Right. We're laughing because we do understand that Gerald is not bipolar. So we're just finding it humorous that he said two opposite things about him having like two different personalities, and that's how he came up with. He said, "But I'm not bipolar."
Right.
So we're not laughing at the disease
No,
of
we're not.
bipolarism in the mental health spectrum. So we
Right,
want our listeners to understand that.
Yes.
So are there any other things or places people can get you or get to know you through social media and things like that too as well?
Yes, on Twitter, G Dramedy, GDRAMEDY, and on Instagram, Gerald Dramedy, at Gerald Dramedy, GERALDDRAMEDY. And it's dramedy because of my books. There will be drama, but there also will be some good laughing moments that will make you cry. So I try to do all of it in one. So it's something for everybody. You're going to be inspired. You're going to feel like you can make it. You're going to feel like no matter what goes on in your life, that there's hope at the end. So every one of my books now and even in the future will give you some type of hope and some type of hard truth. And when I did Alabama Sunrise, I decided to be unapologetic with the words, with the characters, how they perform and how they act. So that's what I want people to know about me and about my work.
And that sounds great. Any other questions before we leave? But while you're asking your questions, I want to make sure that you know that I do send out motivational texts every Wednesday. You can text The Rise, which is one word right here all together, like The Rise, to 844-452-4110. That's 844-452-4110. As well, if you want to look at this later on, we're going to drop this in podcast format. And you can actually go to the www.therise.live and actually click on the episodes tab, and you will see that dropped in our episodes. It will probably air on this Sunday at 12 noon. So make sure that you be looking out for it. I will just go in and do the edits and things like that. So make sure you be looking out 12 noon for the podcast version to come out. It's actually on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. I'm on multiple channels. If you want to look me up, you can look up Judah Bernard. That's Judah Bernard. You can Google me, and the whole page will say me, so my algorithms are correct. Then you can Google me on The Rise Creating Your Voice, and as you see that those algorithms will come up too as well, and the whole page is pretty much mine. So those algorithms have been great to me this year, and I hopefully they'll be wonderful to me next year for 2021. I'm actually doing 2 Facebook Lives. What we're not doing in the new year is doing it on this page. So you actually have to go to the Rise Creating Your Voice page, which is a business page, and it's called the Rise Creating Your Voice page on Facebook. And click into that if you want to see the Facebook Live post. So everything will be going through the Rise Creating Your Voice and not actually on the Judah Bernard page. But all the posting and everything will be on Judah Bernard, but everything will be on the Rise Creating Your Voice as far as the Facebook Live. So we get more followings over there because Facebook actually just give us 5,000, and that's a cutoff. So we want to make sure that everybody is following, if you really like the information, following the Rise Creating Your Voice business page. If you heard that, that's once again the Rise Creating Your Voice Facebook business page. Not the Rise Creating Your Voice. So it's all that whole word, the Rise Creating Your Voice. Are there any questions out there as I just said my little spiel? For those who may not have questions, come bring your questions in. Also know that I am interviewing a mother and a daughter that has dealt with mental health and all that and stuff, which is called Handprints of the Mother and Daughter. Handprints was a chosen topic because the thing is, the mother passed on her handprints to her daughter. Although it may seem unresolved or situations may have occurred, But then again, those handprints are still the same, and she still holds the key to her mother's heart. So no matter what you're going through, we want every mother and daughter, whatever you're going through in 2020, that you erase it and keep moving forward with the things you know of. And those are the handprints that your mother gave you. So understand the handprints that you have been given, and understand your driven purpose in life too as well. You are not a victim, you are a victor. But also, you wanted to hear more from the 40-year-old vegan, the 40-year-old vegan, that's CP Peterson on Facebook. So we'll be doing another cooking session. So I'm excited. You be excited. All of that is happening this Saturday on Facebook Live, and you will have to see that on the Rise Creating Your Voice page. I'm gonna repeat that. You have to see it on the Rise Creating Your Voice page. But other than that, the next one will be dropped the following Sunday. Then the other one will be dropped the following Sunday if you want to look at it in podcast form too as well. So if we have no other questions, we want to definitely congratulate our special guest, author Gerald D Johnson, and all of his endeavors. We want to declare and decree that he's already an author. We just need to move him forward in his authorship, and moving forward in obtaining his goals and dreams of becoming a great author. You're already worldwide when you stepped on the Rise Creating Your Voice podcast, because we are worldwide, and also we're in many states too as well. So people that are watching this right now can see you and actually go and look up your book. And if you need to look him up, you can go to Gerald D on the Facebook page, which is the little blue button right here, where his name is highlighted in blue, and click on him and actually see his book, The Alabama Sunrise, and also the children's novel, The Eye to My Storms. So if there are no questions, we want to thank you for listening. And also we want you to adhere to what our special guest, the author Gerald D Johnson, has said. And make sure that if you want some writing on anything you want to do in life, just go after your dream and goals, and don't become complacent in what people tell you. Sometimes you have to get out of your own head to actually realize that scrub off what people are telling you and scrub on what you need to do, and that's follow your dream and goal. Because what you don't want to do is end up at 62 and forgot or not feeling what you did what you need to do. So start driving in your God's driven purpose, and doing God's will, and being honorable in his will, and making sure that you're reaching out, because that's the only way you'll find your passion. Do you have any closing words, Gerald?
You hit the nail on the head, Judah Bernard. It was awesome to be on the Rise Creating Your Voice. That's so fitting. I just love the name itself, the Rise Creating Your Voice, and I just want everybody to go and create their voice, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it seems like. Speak well, speak through your hands, speak through your feet, speak through your voice, speak through whatever.
Yeah.
speak through whatever time.
Go ahead, through your feet. Come on now, you almost made me get up and run up out of here. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And know that you have a legacy in the making, and that you are needed and valued in everything. So I hope that you guys hit me up. I'm always nice. I am not. And we're not going to go back to the B word. But back on Twitter, G Dramedy, and Instagram, Gerald Dramedy. And I would love to just have a casual conversation with you all. And I thank you so much. And I appreciate being here, Mr. Bernard.
Well, if no one have any other questions or any other comments, we're going to end this session, but we're not saying goodbye. What we're saying is tell a friend, tell a foe, tell your spouse, heck, tell everyone. We'll see you Saturday.